Hey guys, Harry Duff with Ohio Brush Control. So we're out here again working on the Super Duty. Like I said, I'm trying to get this thing back on the road so I can use it as a daily driver. My other car went down. If you check out my other videos, you can kind of get the full story on it. But today we are going to be doing a leveling kit on it, just on the front. I'm planning on putting a brush guard, big heavy brush guard on the front of it. So I'm gonna have to put a leveling kit on it to kind of compensate for that. So I want to do a kind of like a before and after. So I'll do a real good close-up of what the truck looked like before. And also, I'm actually going to take a tape measure and let you guys see exactly how much this lift actually lifts the truck physically. They're 2.5 inch blocks. I'm going for the 2.5 inch because, like I said, I'm putting a big heavy brush guard on there. And I've actually used this exact same lift on another Super Duty that I had, and I really liked it. So I'll take you around and show you the measurements on each wheel well, and we'll do a kind of a before and after so you guys can see the real world exactly how much it lifts it. All right, so the first one, this is the driver's front. This is just from my pretty much bottom of the tire to the top of the fender, or the bottom of the fender right there. Let's say 40 inches, right at 40 inches. This is the rear of the truck, bottom of the tire to bottom of the fender here. Let's say 40, with the rust bubbling. Let's say roughly 42 and a half inches. So that is the measurements before we put the lift on, or the level on. It's technically not really a lift kit or anything like that. It's just leveling blocks. But yeah, I'll kind of walk you guys through it on how I do it. Let's show you what the kit is real quick. So, like I said, I have used this kit before. It is a Moto Fab, like I said, 2.5 inch front lift. It's for most Super Duties. I think you can go on their website and check it out, but I actually got this off Amazon. These are actually made in the USA, 100% made in the USA, and they're actually the cheapest ones on, at least on Amazon. So, I mean, I like buying stuff made in the USA, and I mean, it doesn't hurt that it's the cheapest either. So, like I said, I've used this exact same kit on another truck that I had that actually had this exact same brush guard on it, and it just worked out really good. So I'll show you guys kind of what all is in the kit. It comes with a bag with 2 bolts, 2 washers. These are the blocks, these spacing blocks. I think it has, yeah, some instructions. Yeah, so it's from 2005 to 2020. So it has some handwritten instruction, or not handwritten, but it has some typed out instructions, no pictures or anything like that. So if you're a picture guy, you might want to watch this video, and I'll show you exactly how to do it. But like I said, Moto Fab. These ones that I bought are made in the USA, so that's really good. Even gives you torque specs and everything like that. So I'll get you guys set up, and I'll show you how I do it and kind of walk you through how I do these. Actually, even if I was in the shop, I would actually still do it identical to how I'm going to do it today. I don't raise it up on a rack, or I don't do anything, so it's, in my opinion, easiest to do it on the ground. So yeah, stay tuned. I'm gonna show you guys how I'm lifting it up. This is your trailing arm, or lower control arm on the Super Duties. It just comes straight back, so I'm just picking it up right there. You want to stick your jack stands underneath the actual frame. You do not want to stick it underneath the lower control arm, because you want that axle housing and the lower control arm to actually swing down, be able to swing down. So if you have your jack stand under there, it will not be able to swing down. So I'm just jacking it up here, and then I will stick my jack stands underneath the actual frame itself. The idea is to support the frame of the truck, and we'll jack the entire truck up, support the frame, so it'll kind of be sitting at an angle like this, and then we will remove our lower bolts on the shocks, sway bar end links, and we'll have a jack underneath the entire front axle, and we'll be able to lower the axle down away from the frame. So that is the idea here. We'll be able to pull the spring out, install the blocks, and then put everything back together. It's relatively straightforward. I'll just kind of show you guys a little bit at a time here, and we'll take it one step at a time. So real quick, here's a little pro tip. These hubcaps can, or these plastic hubcaps can be pretty hard to pop off sometimes. So what I do, any trim tool with a 45 or something like that is really good to get back in there, but a lot of people don't want to mar their wheel up. So all you have to do, get a piece of cardboard, stick it here. Just gives you something to pry against so you don't mar your wheel up. It usually pops right off. So it's not as cold today, so I'm not wearing gloves. Again, with the Milwaukee, I love this thing. It's just an absolute monster. 1/2 inch. Take off just about anything you need. All right, so actually I'm going to change this up a little bit. Instead of putting the jack stand back there behind it, just because of the terrain I'm working on, kind of the slope of my driveway here, I am just going to put it underneath the frame all the way up front. Potentially might get in the way of the jack getting in there, but I think we can just work around them. So yeah, I'm going to do that. As long as you're supporting the frame somehow, like I said, we'll lower the axle away from the frame. So however you want to do it safely. Alright guys, so I'm going to walk you through what I've done so far, and we'll go from there. Pop both tires off, like I said. It gives them a lot more clearance. I decided to move the jacks all the way to the front, just because, like I said, my terrain is a little bit uneven and everything, and it was just a little bit easier up there, so I decided to do that. So pop both wheels tires off. Got my jack set right there. And there, I've got the front axle supported just a little bit with that hydraulic jack. It still has everything. The shocks hold it in. This bottom bolt on the shock holds the axle in. Got to take your sway bar nut off to allow it to drop, and the idea is to pop your spring out and put your block in underneath there, and that's really as simple as these leveling kits are. So I'll get you guys set up. Hopefully these bolts don't break and cause me all kinds of issues, but we will hope for the best. So that came out too easy almost. So it's got this weird looking nut on the back. It slides up in a little slot and then the bolt slides into it. So kind of a pain sometimes to get back up in there, but usually use needle nose vice grips to hold the sway bar end link from spinning, but I do not have them, so I'm trying these guys out. Both those are 18 millimeter, the bolt for the shock and the sway bar. All right. So on to, it's actually an 18 millimeter bolt that goes straight down in the middle of your coil spring. All right, that's out. There is two 8 millimeter bolts for this wheel speed sensor. These things love braking, so honestly, I leave those alone. You can maneuver it around with the wire attached. There is a 10 millimeter that holds this brake line bracket on. Buzz that off real quick. All right, so the other side is still attached and this side is loose. So I'm going to let off my jack a little bit and let this side down and then jump over to the other side, and it should do the same thing. Kind of hang on it a little bit and grab your coil spring and take the whole thing out. Pay attention to how this coil spring is clocked. There's a stop right here, and this part right here sits right in this stop. So it sits in there. You just got to make sure you have it clocked the right position. So like I said, you can move this around pretty good. There's no point in taking those little 8s off. I'm gonna grab a wire brush, clean this up a little bit, and that's actually where your block goes. Then you put everything back together, put your coil spring back in there, and go move on to the other side. All right, guys. So I got all my pieces here. Like I said, wire brush this off real quick. Doesn't have to be perfect. Just because I'm weird, I'm gonna add a little spray paint to the top of that, because might as well. Probably will never be in here again, so I won't get the opportunity again, so. Just a little bit. All right, so here's your block. They say the chamfered side goes down towards the axle, so it sits in there just like this. Literally all these leveling kits are about the same. They're just a big chunk of something stuck in between your coil spring and your axle, pretty much. Some of the more expensive ones actually make this rubber bushing a lot taller, and they go on the top. Most of the cheaper ones are literally just a block that you stick underneath of it. So I'm sure there'll be a lot of people saying this isn't the best kit and everything, Rough Country or Skyjacker or countless others. I mean, name it, is a better one for whatever reason. But like I said, I've used these before and they were cheap, made in America, and they work, so can't beat that. Another thing they recommend, like I said, the chamfer is supposed to be down. Another thing they recommend is Loctite on the bolt. The bolt you're putting in is a lot longer than the bolt you're taking out, obviously because they're accounting for that spacer in there. So yep. Let's see if I can get this thing in there. All right, guys, so the GoPro battery died somewhere in there. I'm not sure where, so I'm just going to go over the entire installation on this side also. So yeah, stay tuned. All right, so we got our coil spring out. Like I said, I already got the other side done. Spray a little bit of paint on this. Just while I'm in here, might as well. This is the lift block. The chamfer part goes down against the axle. They also recommend Loctite on the bolt. So not much, you don't need much, just a little bit to cover threads. Go ahead and sit this guy on there, chamfer part down, like I said. Just getting it started, just a couple turns. Just to make sure it's not going anywhere. Now I need to fight with the coil spring. Like I said, the stop for the bottom of the coil spring is right here, and it ends right there. So just make sure it's clocked in there properly. This is still a little bit of a fight, even with the axle pretty much all the way down. So pry bar sometimes helps, just to give you that little extra quarter inch you need. All right, that's it. Leave it like that. All right, so now I'm going to slowly jack the axle up. I need to make sure that the spring perch is sitting inside the spring. I need to make sure the shock is going where it should. Sway bar and link is going where it should on both sides. So yeah, just jack it up nice and even and slow, and I'll let you guys watch me do that. All right, you get to the point where mostly it's bottomed out. You're able to get your sway bar on there. This looks like it's just far enough to get that bolt in there. All right, get everything tightened up. Most definitely don't forget to tighten up your main bolt that goes down through there. All right, let's see where this ends up. We're going for 80 pound on this. I do have 4 inch in the garage, so I'm just gonna do it till I feel like a good night. Put a lock on there, shouldn't I? That's about 80 foot-pounds. Short little ratchet. All right, I got everything tightened up. All right, guys. Well, that's all she wrote for this. A lot of guys say you have to get shock extensions or different shocks, and also longer brake lines. I mean, it's probably not a terrible idea, but I have had this exact same setup on a different 350 for multiple years, going off-road, doing a bunch of different stuff, never had any issues. So like I said, might be something to look into if it's cost effective, I guess, but I've never had any issues with it, and that's pretty much it for this. Next project I'm planning on doing on this thing is adding the brush guard. So I'll get the wheels and tires on, kind of see what time it is and see if I have enough time to do that. But at the end of this video, I will most definitely do a walk around with the truck sitting on the ground with the tires on it and do a measurement and just see what the true leveling or lift actually is out of this kit. So I appreciate you guys watching, but stay tuned for the measurements real quick. And all right, guys, so that is it. This is the final final look of the truck. It does, which I remember this on my last truck, it does look a little bit high in the front to start with, but there is some settling, a little bit of settling that needs to happen. And also when I put that big brush guard on the front, it will pull that down and it'll be look pretty good compared to factory stance. So here's the final measurement. Here's the final measurement for the front. So that is right at, I mean, bottom of the tire to bottom of that fender, 42.5. So we started out at 40. I mean, that is a dead 2.5 inch rise. I would halfway expect that if I were not to put the brush guard on the front, probably to settle maybe 1/4 of an inch, maybe a 1/2 inch, probably not that much. But so yeah, I would say that'd be a true 2.5 inch level. Rear shouldn't have changed much, maybe just a hair. It was roughly 42.5 also, and maybe now it's 42 3/4 after that kit. So I'm super happy with that. Like I said, the next video will be of me putting that brush guard on. That'll drag that front down just a hair, and kind of level it out a little bit, and yeah, also just make it look a lot better. I The front bumpers on these things don't look terrible, but bumper I have looks pretty good. So please like and subscribe this video if you guys like it. Let me know. Like I said, this is not a our normal video of forestry mulching, land clearing, stuff like that. So let me know if you guys like these videos. I'm considering making a second channel just for kind of the repair vehicle or the repair videos. So I'm thinking about doing that. So yeah, keep an eye out for the next video on the brush guard, and keep an eye out for possibly an announcement about a second channel. So thanks for watching, guys.